The only thing we have to
Beer.
is
Beer.
itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Only no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We'll bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. My name is Dan Baker. I'm joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner,
and the demented and fermented,
Wayne Baker.
You know, there were a lot of bad things that happened over the past couple of years, but one of the good things is we had to embrace Zoom. And I know we've said it multiple times, but that means that we get to talk to cool people in the beer business who are not geographically close to us. Now, I'm sure you've noticed on your device of choice that you're listening to this on, that we have somebody joining us from Red Bear Brewing, and that would be in D.C., and that would be...
My name is Bryan Van Den Oever. I am the marketing director and social media director for Red Bear Brewing Company, and I'm one of the owners.
Woo.
I also like long walks down dark alleys.
Yes. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you for joining us. This is already a blast.
You are very welcome. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, of course. Of course. There's a lot that we're going to get into, and I can't wait to hear all about Red Bear, but we got to get some housekeeping out of the way. Remember, you listening to this, you can find us on the internet besides where you currently found the podcast. You can follow along on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We are at Beer Busters. Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. There's also beerbusterspodcast.com. And you can also add /shop to the end of that and find some cool merch. There's YouTube, where we are Beer Busters Podcast. There's patreon.com/beerbusters, where as little as $1 a month gets you access to the cool behind-the-scenes feed and the archive of punishment videos and all the goodies and all the cool stuff that we'll have coming your way in the future.
Every time you do that, the housekeeping, I always think our tagline should be Beer Busters. We're on the internet.
I agree.
Sure, we can do that going forward.
Hey,
no, you should still say all the things.
Google it.
Dan does it so eloquently now. I feel like I don't even know. I'm usually sociing at the point where you're doing all of that. Do you even look at something? Is it all just ingrained in your memory?
That was the note that I wrote down. Even though I know it and I've said it a million times, I got to write it down or else I'm going to skip something.
Fair. Well, well done, sir.
Thank you. That broadcasting degree is doing something for me.
Nice methodology.
Thank you. Thank you. And yet I'm sure I'll still forget things along the way because that's what I do. I also splash a little bit of whiskey on this notebook, so we're off to a good start. In fact, I'm going to keep that away from my girlfriend's computer because I don't want to owe her a computer.
That's fair.
That's probably a good idea. Well, you mentioned you're drinking whiskey. Why don't we go around and what is everyone drinking first?
Yes, Bryan, let's start with you.
Okay, I'll start. I'm drinking a Red Bear. It is our Descent. It's our hazy IPA. And originally we brewed it because of RBG's passing, but we wanted to keep it going. So we decided to change the name to Descent because of all the craziness happening in the world. So that's what I'm drinking, and it's really pretty. I don't know. Your viewers can't see this, but it's gorgeous.
Yeah, I love that
cool.
label. Yeah, that's such a cool thing. And I like, of course, the Red Bears front and center.
Yeah.
Yeah, your can art is amazing. And I am drinking Ferrari, which is the Italian Pilsner from Red Bear. And Bryan, you mentioned pre-recording that this is actually new art for this beer.
Brand new, just came out at the end of June. And we have the most amazing illustrator. She's right here in DC, and we love her to death. Her name is Alice Picard. She's amazing. Shout out.
Well, Dana and I were in town for the Queer Beer Fest, and we stopped in to the brewery before heading to the wharf to pick up some 4-packs. And the crew behind the bar was, first of all, utterly amazing. We felt it was not our first time there, but we felt totally welcomed right away. And I wanted to snap some pictures of the beers on the bar. of course, for the social medias. And they were so adorable, and they were completely producing my my shoot here. They were like, wait, you got to take it here with the pride flag in the background. Well, wait, we got to get the bear. Well, wait, we need to get these flags and the beads and this. And it was the most fun I've ever had taking pictures for an Instagram post. So
We definitely have some playful staff on our team. So I'm not shocked by any of that.
Very nice.
yeah, we did reward them with some fucks. So we always keep a box of course, I picked the darkest one.
Actual fucks.
Of wooden fucks. And we find people in the service industry especially enjoy receiving these because sometimes when you're in the service industry at the end of the night, you're down to your last fuck. So
if not completely out.
I was a little concerned when you said you rewarded them with fucks. And I'm like, what they do outside of Red Bear. I'm hoping, like, the bathrooms are clean, but they're not that clean. So,
Not anymore, they're not.
Oh, jeez.
I don't want to know, basically. I don't want to know. Plausible deniability.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
if
That is
anyone's
amazing.
interested, go on Etsy and you yourself can order a box of 150 rainbow fucks.
Oh my God, I need to buy these. I'm going to write a note to myself right now because
Buy fucks.
I want to give out my last fuck.
Dan, can we please call this episode 150 Rainbow Fucks?
I mean, I got to put an asterisk in fucks, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess. It depends on the platform, huh? I love it.
Oh my God.
You're for it.
That is funny.
Yes.
Perfect.
So we know Dan's drinking whiskey, he said, right?
Yep. I had quite the day at work, and I had a bottle of Rittenhouse Rye that I never opened. I bought it like 2 weeks ago, so why not? Why not right now?
Very cool. I figure I was wondering what the specific brand was. I'm going to be super boring, as I often am on weekday recordings, and say I'm drinking a grapefruit polar.
Oh, it's not an aha. I figured it would be an aha.
No, it's not an aha this time. Although I did need some caffeine, so I have like 2 sips of Coke over here because we had a family gathering this past weekend, so I have so much soda left over. I don't normally drink soda.
I just found AHA for the first time.
Oh, they're so good.
I absolutely love the lime watermelon. So good.
Oh, I haven't had that
I haven't
one.
had that one either. I toy with buying it, but watermelon for me is kind of hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah,
It's so
yeah, like
summer.
Well,
It's
yeah,
delicious.
That's true. They have
I feel like
there's a blackberry lemonade one, I want to say, or blackberry something or other that they just brought out too. I got it like a month or so ago. It's really good.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look for that one.
Yeah, there's that. There's a couple new flavors. There was that. I got like an apple something or other. That was okay, but it was caffeinated. And then my go-to is the
had that
blueberry
one.
pomegranate. I love that one. Oh man, if I could drink
That
that
one's
all day, every
solid,
day.
too. That one's solid too.
the there's a peach and honey, I think.
Oh
Peach and
yes,
honey one. That's pretty good.
We have
Yeah,
that one.
that's a good one.
That's the
That's very good.
pearls.
Clutch the pearls, yes.
That one has caffeine in it too. The peach and honey one.
Does it?
Wait, no, there's
Okay.
like a peach
Or
white
does
tea
it?
one
That
that
one
does.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of the other
No,
one.
I
There's
was
two
thinking
with
about the other one
peach.
too. Yeah, there's a peach white tea.
But that's what I really like about Aha's is that they have like 3 or 4 flavors that are like part tea, so they actually have caffeine in
Yeah.
them, which is nice. I like the green tea and citrus.
Yeah, that one's good. I may or may not have stolen a few of those from you when you lived here.
Yeah, more power to you.
Thanks.
These polars are also left over from the party. I have like 800 cans of seltzers, 3 2-liters of soda.
Yeah, but you'll go through the 800 cans of seltzer in like a day.
Oh yeah, because I drink about half of it and then I leave it sit for a day, and I'm like, oh crap, I left it sit. Now it's flat. I got it done. I'm such an asshole.
No.
So wasteful.
I will say that even though I'm drinking whiskey, I'm drinking it out of a brewery glass. This is from when I was on vacation, and it's not really going to show. It is from Pegasus City Brewing in Dallas.
Very cool.
It
I like
looks
that
like
logo.
the Detroit Red Wings logo.
That's what I thought at first, and every time I look at it, the tricky part is we had to go through Detroit to get to Dallas, so my brain goes back to Detroit every time I see this. But it's not. It was Dallas. It was downtown Dallas.
It was fate.
Yeah. Dan went to Dallas via like Detroit, San Francisco, Tokyo,
God, that would have been a much more interesting story.
Mumbai.
Bye.
Cancellations
And
and
then
reschedules. We were supposed to fly out of Newark, New Jersey. We were originally going to fly out of Philly because that's where we are. That got pushed back like 8 hours 2 months ago. And then we got a flight out of Newark. And then from there, it got canceled. So we were supposed to fly out of Newark a day and a half later after we were already canceled. Called the next morning. They got us on a flight at like 11 a.m. out of LaGuardia. So we had to take an Uber from Newark to LaGuardia and then fly from there to Detroit for a 9-hour layover to get to Dallas at midnight. It was crazy.
I have a secret ambition.
What's that?
To start a Red Bear up in Philly because I love that city. I love that city.
Yes! Come to Philly.
As you should.
Come to
because
Philly.
I want to move there.
It's a nice town. It's a nice town.
It reminds me of grungy Seattle when it was grungy at one point, right?
I could see it, yeah.
And Amazon completely changed everything in Seattle.
Yeah.
But now I'm in DC. Love DC. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I love DC. But I've visited Philly multiple times now that I'm on the East Coast here. And I'm like, I could totally vibe here. So
yeah. Well, that actually kind of leads into a question that I had for you. So the whole story of Red Bear is that you guys were in Seattle and you had the idea back then. So there's many questions I want to ask about that. But how did you end up in DC from Seattle with this idea for a brewery?
Well, do you want the official word or what really happened?
Ooh. Let's go with what really happened.
Okay. Well, okay. So they kind of are meshed together. But what really happened was my brewmaster, he met somebody who lived here in DC, but because he worked for the Department of Transportation, he worked out in Alaska, so he goes to Seattle all the time, and that's where they met. And they became a couple through his travels. And then they really got, involved. And Simon basically said, I'm going to move to DC. I'm not going to go back to my career. I'm going to start a nano brewery. And then he told me all these things because I was his friend at the time. And I'm like, do you need a business partner? And that's literally how it started.
So you moved to DC to do this brewery because he was moving to DC.
Basically.
So you just up and left.
It basically came down to love. We moved here for love.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Yep. And they're still together. They're getting married this year.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, awesome. Congrats to them.
Yep. The official line is, well, DC is an underserved population. It's a great for retail. People are actually starting to live here and make lives here. And there were only 7 breweries at the was it 7? Something like that. And there weren't that many in the district. And we thought it was a great time to start the business here in DC because there was so little competition. And it was a growing city. And I think we got in right before all of these buildings just exploded. I don't know if you've been to the Noma area of DC. It is high-rise everything.
Wow.
And that happened within the last 5 years.
Yeah. I haven't been to DC in probably close to 15 years. And even that was just like an afternoon. We went down for the Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert rally, whenever that was. We went down for that. And we left Philly at like 7 o'clock in the morning and then still got there late because of all the traffic. This thing started at 1. We got there at 1:30.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. So that was my last time in DC. And I know I have to go down there and do it again when there aren't 1.5 million people flocking to the city.
Truth.
Went to Rockville and taken the
Metro.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we were going down with some other friends, and there were like a party van, for lack of a better way to put it. It was still a good day.
So for your listeners, if you travel to DC, Red Bear is on the Red Line. Do you see what happened there?
Oh,
Red Bear on Red
that's
Line.
red.
And it's one station north of Union Station, which is the most popular or the most known metro station because it's an old, beautiful building. But we're one block up. We're in Noma Gallaudet.
And you are literally across the street from the metro stop.
Yeah, it's 200 feet we measured.
Which is
Did
amazing.
you measure IRL or did you measure like Google Maps?
Oh, no, I did my, like what you normally do. You use your feet, and you do the step walk, right?
Right. You count out your paces?
Yeah. It's about 200. I wasn't drinking at the time. Not at all.
So the line may not have even been straight.
Well, I can meander, whatever.
Yeah, it's fine.
Might be less.
Yeah.
I did not realize the history of the building that Red Bear is located. I mean, I've been there a few times, but I was the history part of you snagging that place, or did you just happen to find a place that had such awesome history?
Okay, so I'm going to tell your listeners, if you're looking at starting your own brewery, don't do what we did.
Measure with measuring tapes and not your feet.
Well, that too.
Number one.
But we were very committed, Simon and I, and then we brought in our third partner, very committed to getting this happen off the ground. Obviously, Simon was very committed because he was moving here for his partner. All of us basically quit our careers to do this. And two of us quit our careers before we got the loan and the space located. Yeah.
Ooh, okay, that's bold. That's bold.
And moved across country. Bold moves.
All of the caution to the wind.
All of it. Well, we felt that if we didn't put pressure on ourselves, it was never going to happen.
I know that feeling.
So we were going to make it work, and we made it work.
Yeah.
When I moved here in 2017, we did not have the location, but we had a bank that wanted to loan us the money. So we just needed to find the location. It took us 100 site visits to find a location.
100.
Wow. And it wasn't even our real estate agent that found the space, because I lived a block away from where we are now when I moved here. And I found the location. So basically, we contacted the building, and it's the U-Line building. It's an arena, a U-Line arena building. It is an old building. It is the first hockey arena in DC, and it was the first hockey team here in DC. I forget the name, but
the Washington Lions.
The Washington Lions.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. So what happened? The U-Line is the gentleman that owned the U-Line. He created an ice factory for ice chests. This is back in the turn of the century, and that's the building that we're in. We're in the ice factory, but it's attached to the arena. It makes sense. They made ice for the arena as well. So that's who bought and built the building. Was this ice magnet, I guess?
Used to be a thing.
And this building is old. A couple presidents have done things there. And at one point it was a venue for concerts. And the big reveal is the Beatles played their first show on U.S. soils in the U-Line Arena.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's how people reacted at the time as well.
Yeah, it's true.
The first show they've ever done on U.S. soil was here at the U-Line Arena building. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I know exactly where they took the picture. There's a picture of them throwing snowballs at each other, and I know exactly where that is. It's on the roof.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What year was that?
So, what really caught us was the
65,
space.
probably.
What's that?
Wayne asked what year it was. I'm figuring 65.
I'm guessing I would have to look at the records.
Yeah.
It's in the 60s. Definitely in the 60s.
Yeah.
60s, yeah.
Safe bet.
Yeah. I want to say 67. I walk past it almost every day, but I could be wrong.
According to UltimateClassicRock.com, the Beatles made their U.S. concert debut on February 11th, 1964 in Washington, D.C., 2 days before their appearance on The Ed Sullivan Show.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They arrived from New York by train at Union Station in the middle of a snowstorm with the snowballs.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So, long story short, too late. We found the building, and then basically it was negotiation, and they took a chance on us, and we're now in operation.
And you figured if the Beatles could do it, you could do it.
Right.
Why
didn't know
not?
about
Yeah.
that. Our landlord was all about the history of the building. So.
I mean, I'd be very proud of that if I were the landlord of that building.
Mm-hmm. We made a beer. One of our first beers was called Polar Bear, and it was like a very dry pale ale, hopped pale ale. Not an IPA, but it was a pale ale. and we wanted it to be quite dry because of ice, right?
Mm.
I loved it, but Simon didn't want to rebrew it again, so I was sad. But our idea was this was our nod to the ice factory side of things.
Mhm.
So, and there was a bear in it.
Cool. Very cool.
Well, I guess why don't you talk about the name Red Bear, where that came from, and the meaning of Red
Do you
Bear?
want the official story, or do you want the real story?
As
the
before,
real story.
Well, okay, so Simon and I are both gingers. So we're red hair. We have red hair, blue eyes, red hair. And that's, I think, what really sealed the deal on it. When he and I were getting the names together back in Seattle, we did a poll on Facebook back in the day when you could do more than a couple things on polls. And we had like 20 names, and we sent it out to our friends and family. And like, vote on your favorite for this brewery idea that we're doing. Overwhelming, Red Bear won. Because obviously they know we're both gay ginger men. And in the gay world, bears are a thing. And so I just feel like that was overwhelming. The gay men of Seattle voted Red Bear for us. Of course, we did bring in our third business partner, and we call him a ginger because he's kind of a mixed beard, at least. So, yeah.
I know it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell on Zoom, but my beard is mostly red right here. Well, now going gray, but it was red at one point.
Yeah,
I'm starting to.
The other thing is, we then looked at, is it copyrighted? And it wasn't, so we got it. Or trademark.
Right.
So, which is a big deal. Make sure it's, if you love a name, it's not trademarked, because you're going to lose the name.
Yeah, and it's surprising that you didn't have an issue, given the words red and bear aren't super uncommon words, and like every day that goes by, another cool name is taken for either a brewery name or a beer name.
Yeah.
Well, somehow we made it almost 10 years with. I'm going to cut this part out without trademarking Beer Busters.
Oh,
nobody's beat us to that punch yet.
I guess, yeah.
Isn't it like $500 to trademark something?
I don't know.
It's like an exorbitant amount of money that didn't make sense for us to do.
Yeah, we might lose it though.
We may actually have the money to do it now.
Hey, let's do it. Better late than never.
Okay. Brian, you've inspired us.
Yay!
Look what's happening.
I wanted to do one thing today. I wanted to inspire someone, and
someone to protect themselves legally.
Yes, specifically to file a trademark.
Lawyers are going to be very happy with you.
That's very cool.
So that was the name of Red Bear, and we love it. It's like, it wasn't my favorite, but then I grew to love it. So
very cool.
So something else that's interesting about you, when I was Googling, preparing for this, and I landed on your LinkedIn page, because usually when you Google a person's name, you end up there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But your life prior to beer was is very interesting and surprising. You were a sergeant in the U.S. Army. Thank you for your service. And a nuclear medicine technologist, which sounds really freaking fancy, and I don't know what it means. So I'm curious, first of all, what was that life like? And crazy that you switched from that to beer.
I'm curious though. I think we might have to start with, what is a nuclear medicine technologist? Because that's just at the front of my mind.
Well, I'm going to answer that by rewinding to my time in the service. They kind of kickstarted my nuclear medicine career. So when I joined the service, I was communications, but they cross-trained me into NBC, which is nuclear biological chemical decontamination. And so I had that kind of background anyway. And so when I joined the military to get an education, that's a really good path for people. I will always tell young folks, if you don't know what you want to do, they're going to give you life experience in the military, and then you can learn to what you want to do in your college days. And I could go on and on about how I love the service, but where was I going with that? No, I had that background, and so when I decided to go into college, I I started college and I was going to be a theater major. But then I realized that there's not a lot of money in that unless you're really good. And I'm like, this butterface is not going to get me anywhere. So I decided to go into science, and I found out I'm really good at it. So long story short, again, too late. I chose nuclear medicine, which is diagnostic imaging using gamma radiation. And so if you think of your sciencey backgroundy people, radiation comes from primarily two sources, like the X-ray, or well, I wouldn't say two sources, but there's X-rays that come from the electron, and then there's gamma rays that come from the nucleus. That's what I use, right? So I'm actually taking an element that's radioactive, which is technetium, attaching other atoms to make a molecule that does something in your body and injecting that in you. Now you are radioactive and you're giving off energy.
And
My
you can image
camera
it.
can see that energy, and we can see what's going on inside of you. Nuclear medicine is a huge array of imaging studies. We can see the brain, we can see the liver, gallbladder, lungs, heart. I can keep going, honestly. But another big part of nuclear medicine is oncology, because we can do a lot with tagging tracers, and we call them tracers, that attach to cancerous cells in the body. And we can see, is it metastasized? Is it localized? And then we can also look at treatment. Is the treatment doing good or not? So nuclear medicine is very science forward. And I love it, and I encourage young folks who are listening to this, hopefully not too young, to look into nuclear medicine.
Well, we did have a 17-year-old kid on the podcast at one point.
Oh, okay.
Recently.
Yeah, that did happen.
Solid.
But to be fair, he was the marketing guy for a brewery.
That's
so.
true. That's true. And he taught us to use TikTok, which is nowhere near as impressive as nuclear medicine. Because that I find very intriguing, and TikTok just pisses me off.
I suspect nuclear medicine is slightly more difficult to wrap your head around.
Well, I do have to say, the switch from going to the military to nuclear medicine wasn't that bad. But the switch from moving to nuclear medicine to marketing and events was crazy times. Crazy world.
I bet.
I'm like, how do I wrap my brain around social media, marketing, and events like Drag Bingo, because I've never done that before. But you learn. You got to learn quick. You got to learn quick. So you do.
That's quite the pivot.
It's the biggest pivot I've done in my whole life.
I can imagine.
That's amazing.
We'll talk about some of the events. You mentioned the drag shows, which you guys do pretty regularly at Red Bear. What other events?
I think the conversation needs to start with Red Bear Brewing Company is owned by 3 gay men.
Yep.
We're 100% LGBTQ owned and majority veteran owned because Cameron is also a veteran. He was in the Air Force. But I think, living our queer lives, that's one of the reasons why we have quite a few drag shows. And it all started with Drag Bingo in May of 2019. We started our first bingo, and we've still been doing them. We're about to hit our 50th Drag Bingo.
Wow!
Oh, nice.
Yep. We even did a couple during the worst times of the pandemic on Zoom, no less. Those were terrible times. Terrible times. Anyway. Yeah. We do Drag Bingo every second and fourth Tuesday here in DC, here at Red Bear. We do drag shows a couple of times a month, usually on Friday or Saturday. Our next one's coming this Friday, which is the Drag Animated. So animated characters reimagined into drag performers. We've had music in our space. We have a lot of panel discussions, oddly enough, on our space. We had the EU delegation in our space talking about LGBTQ rights around the world.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep, we had Stavros Labrinidis, is the EU delegate for the United States. He was in our space in June. Yep, he's a fantastic person. And what else do we do? We do comedy. We do. I can keep going, honestly. We do beer events from time to time. I've got a really fun event we're going to do this fall, but it's not released yet, so I can't tell you about it.
Oh, okay.
Check back in.
Can you give us just a hint?
Well, it involves pumpkin beer.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep. I love pumpkin beer. That's kind of the reason why I fell in love with craft beer anyway.
Oh, okay.
That's a unique story. We don't often hear that.
Yeah, that's usually not the gateway.
It was my gateway drug of choice with beer anyway. That story is because I lived in Seattle and the Elysian Brewing Company, before they sold out, did a pumpkin beer event, a pumpkin beer festival every year. And I literally ran into it one day because I lived close to there, and I walked past it and there was like something going on. So I went in, and it was the third year they had done it, and it was tiny. Like they had pumpkin beer, you could drink it. It was theirs and then other people's. And then every year since I lived in Seattle, it just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now it's a huge festival, music. They moved it down to the Seattle Center. It's huge. But pumpkin beer based. In fact, in Washington State, you have to be licensed to be a bartender. I got my license so I could help pour pumpkin beer at the event.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. So, pumpkin beer, it's delicious. And the detractors out there, I've heard it all. Pumpkin beer is delicious, in my opinion.
Drink what you like.
Right?
Drink whatever you want, and you be you. Just maybe don't go back into certain sections of our back catalog because we may have disparaged pumpkin beer.
Here's the thing. We can embrace the fact that we kind of lived the beer snob life, and we would call people out for drinking pumpkin beers and New England IPAs, and just drink what you like. There are some pumpkin beers that I really like. I don't like seeing them in the middle of July.
This is a good story though, because this beer style got him into beer. That's
awesome.
It shows the power of all of these different beer styles, and like they might not be for everyone, but they are for someone. And
which was a huge pivot in my life, my drinking life anyway, because I was living my 26-year-old gay club, vodka tonics, vodka soda life, and then I found pumpkin beer. Huge pivot. Look at that pivot. Look at that pivot.
Well, look where you are now. I mean,
right.
You're on a brewery, right?
So do you have a favorite East Coast pumpkin beer?
Well, ours. Gourd Riddance. Fair. It's called Gourd Riddance, and it's delicious.
There's the marketing guy for you.
Right? I've had a couple. Hardywood does one. I would actually have to go back and look. It's been a while since I've had them, so I guess last year.
Hardywood does some crazy barrel aged pumpkin beers, which can be really fun.
I like Hardywood stuff. I feel like there's not a lot of breweries here in DC that do pumpkin. I think we're the only one that does a pumpkin beer. Mm-hmm. Which I'm going to be like, I'm about to email all of them. Is anyone making a pumpkin beer? I might want to take a keg or two from you, but that's neither here nor there.
East Coast Pumpkin Fest.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I don't know. That's what started my love. So I'm like, maybe I could do something with that. So
why not go for it? Make it cool again.
Make it pumpkin beer cool again. Yeah. I'm gonna make a shirt.
You should.
Just have okay. First of all, you just need to have some drag queens pouring it. You guys were like the hit of the Queer Beer Fest because Charlemagne Chateau was pouring your beer when we stopped at your stand at the event. And oh my God, first of all, that was genius to have her there doing it. So if that was your idea, then you get huge marketing points because that was amazing.
It was my idea.
Okay. Bryan, you're doing really, really well. Keep up the good work.
It's a queer beer festival, and we were one of the only queer-owned breweries there. Other than Denizens, love Denizens.
Yeah.
They're majority lesbian-owned, which is great. We love them. So I'm like, we've got to gay this up, guys. We got to do something to gay this up. I wanted a Go-Go Boy poll, but they said no. So I got a drag queen instead, which is fine. I love drag queens. I was a little worried though, because makeup melts off their faces in the heat, and I was worried about their faces melting off. But they persevered and it worked. So
yeah, they were amazing. I think the only bummer was that the stage was not on the same pier as the brewery.
Don't get me
so
started.
So we didn't get to see as many performances as we were hoping, because we even did VIP and those hours just went way too fast. But
so I talked to the guy that ran the whole thing. Next year they want to be the pier over, and they want to do a barge where the performance is happening.
Yes,
in the river.
That would be
That's
amazing.
what he told me. I'm like, okay, you do you.
Well, when I was talking to them, they weren't completely sure if it was going to be in DC again, and we were trying to, because they were talking about doing it in California and maybe like swapping coasts. I'm like, well, you could do two. You could do a West Coast and an East Coast. I mean,
well, you know how this all kind of came about. So last year, the Queer Beer Festival was in New York, and it was all online. And
it was virtual.
What's that?
It was virtual. Yeah, we watched it from the basement.
Oh yeah, I think I was at your house for part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was virtual, and they asked us to be a part of it because they knew that we're 100% LGBTQ owned. And so I said I would love to, but we didn't have our canning line yet, and they wanted all canned products. And we didn't know how to distribute it up there because distribution is garbage in the United States.
And you're saying, and you're in DC, and you're saying that
we're not a state, so
yeah.
Anyway, they asked us if we wanted to be a part of it. I said I would love to, and then but we couldn't. And I basically stated, hey, have you ever thought of doing one in DC? And Red Bear would love to be a part of it. If you do, and then they basically said, well, that's a market that we would love to be in. So that's kind of how it came about.
Nice. Well, thank you for that. Yeah,
You're welcome.
The virtual was awesome because I'm sure most of our listeners know how this worked, but during COVID, you would sign up for this and they will send you a box of beer. But one that really stood out is we were introduced to Lady Justice through that event. And we actually were traveling. We traveled to Denver last summer. And because we drank their beer and heard their story through that fest, we rearranged some of our time to make sure that we hit that brewery, and then we got to know them, and then they introduced us to the people at Gold Spot, right? Well, I can never remember the name of them. Gold Spot. So it was really cool that we were introduced to a whole new group of breweries just from participating in that virtual fest. So It was a good time.
I think I even spoke at that event.
That is possible.
I think I did. Yeah. I was a commentator on something. A
that
year ago.
Did Ren Navarro speak at that one? Was she? We did so many virtual things. Was she the keynote? I'm trying to remember who the keynote speaker was. It may have been Ren.
Oh, that's right. I did a panel discussion with one of the owners of Providence Brewing Company.
Oh, right.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, I met him because I went there for Halloween. So I'm like, I'm going to see you in October. He's like, okay, sure you are. And then I saw him in October. Got you.
And did he have a pumpkin beer on tap?
No.
The unmitigated gall.
I am upset.
I strangely have a small desire to drink a pumpkin beer now. I have feeling the same way in like 10 years.
I'm feeling the same thing.
You're very welcome.
Hey, listen.
You are not just a marketing genius. You are an influencer. Do you know this?
Yeah. We're all reinventing ourselves these days. Let's go back to pumpkin beers.
Subliminally, all the people listening to this podcast now want to have a pumpkin beer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, when you want one, you can come down to DC and have our pumpkin beer in October.
So I gotta ask the question, because there's always the dichotomy of pumpkin beers and then Märzen's. Do you do like a Märzen or Oktoberfest or anything?
Oh, yeah,
or do you just
do.
okay?
Yeah,
all right,
absolutely.
all right. Because I found at least up here, it's usually one or the other. Or if they try to do one, they do one and they push, and the other one's just kind of like there, and it's an afterthought.
No, we've been doing Oktoberfest.
Of course.
Oh, of course.
We've been doing that for the last 3 years, and this year it's getting a new can design.
Ooh.
Yes, but I'm not going to release it because it's not done yet. So, but that's coming. So our Martzen, excuse me, is going to come out early in September. So pumpkin beer gets its due in October. So,
okay.
Yes,
I approve of that.
and it's delicious.
I'm
People
opening.
I bet.
I'm opening
Oh.
Peak Bloom now. Very DC can.
Yes.
It has the Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial, and cherry blossoms. Correct?
Yep. So do you want to know the story behind that one?
Yes, please.
Peak Bloom is there's the cherry festival cherry blossom festival that happens every year, and it's because of the cherry blossoms bloom all at once, basically for about 3 weeks here in DC, and there's always something going on in the city around that time about the peak bloom of the cherry blossoms, and so we're like, is nobody making a peak bloom like cherry beer? And so we're like, this is marketing gold right here.
Yeah.
And so we basically coined ours Peak Bloom, and it's a Belgian cherry wit beer. So I think it's delicious. It's a little out of season. You got that a little while ago.
Yeah, I think we got one of the last 4 packs at the brewery, actually. Because I think, didn't they have to go check and even make sure they still had cans of it?
Yeah. It's a delicious.
But it's a beer that ages nicely. It's,
it does. Yeah.
It's
How's it tasting?
pretty. It's pretty. It tastes fabulous. It's really good. And I like, this is probably higher in alcohol, isn't it? It's one of those beers that it drinks. Oh, it is only 5.2.
Yep.
I love it.
Ooh, nice.
Usually Belgian beers are like super high in alcohol, and I'm always like,
wit though. Wits can be a little lower.
True.
Yeah. So where was I going with this? This year there were so many events going on with the Blossom Festival that we had to do a double batch because we let our distributor know that we're doing this, and he sold half of it in a week.
Oh, wow.
We're like, we better brew another batch if we want any in-house. And so DC loves its cherry blossom, so we had to do it. So yeah,
very cool. And how long?
Go ahead.
Sorry. How long have you been making the cherry blossom beer?
Oh, I think we started that in was it 2020? No, I think we started in 2019. We opened in March, and I believe we had the Peak Bloom in April of 2019. So I think it's one of the beers that we've had in the beginning. Simon might be able to correct me on that.
I was just curious because you mentioned that, like, how is no one doing like a cherry blossom inspired? Have other breweries followed suit since?
A couple others we're doing some stuff, but I'm like, you didn't snap up the name Peak Bloom.
That was really the goal right there. Yeah.
That's low hanging fruit right there.
It really is. Yeah, you really got in good on that one.
Yeah. So, and then it's so easy to market it to bars and restaurants for that season because there's always something going on in DC here for it. So, yeah.
So in DC, the phrase Peak Bloom is almost like Oktoberfest. It's a whole kind of thing that happens.
I don't know if it's connected with beer that way, but it's definitely a citywide known event. Just like the inauguration, citywide known event, right?
Right.
Peak Bloom is just of the cherry blossoms. They have news reports about it. Mm-hmm. Peak Bloom is gonna be on such and such a week. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, this is perfect.
Well, hopefully, thanks to your valiant efforts, it will become more and more associated with beer as the years go on.
I should probably do a Peak Bloom festival of cherry beer.
There you go. You have your Peak Bloom festival, and then you have your pumpkin beer festival. It's sort of, yin and yang.
Yep. I'll take it.
Are cherries
We love
the
to give out
yin
free
to,
ideas.
Wait, are cherries the yin to the pumpkin yang?
Yeah, because the cherry blossoms in like spring, pumpkin beers in autumn.
Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah. I'll take it. It's cute.
Just spitballing here, guys. No bad ideas.
I see nothing wrong with this. So you mentioned your distributor sold half of this. How far do you guys distribute your beer?
So we're a tiny little brewery. We're not a microbrewery. So we can only produce about 120 barrels a month. So that's pretty small, and a good, I would say 80% of that we want to go out of our brew house or out of our tap room, which makes sense. That's where the money's at, butts and seats, right? But we're trying to do everything we can to do more distribution, because now that we have can art and people know of us in DC, we want to get our product out to restaurants and bars in the area. And we have select bars and restaurants that we send our product. In fact, one of the gay bars here in DC, it's called Trade, or queer bars, I guess, at this point. They've had our beer on now for 3 years. Well, the pandemic was weird, but so they've had it on consistently for that. So we love that. Oddly enough, we're able DC changed their laws. We are now able to self-distro as a brew pub. That just happened last month.
Oh, cool.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Because we're a brew pub, we weren't able to self-distro. We had to use a distributor, but they changed the laws, and now we can. But we've been able to self-distro in Maryland for 2 years now. So we have 2 accounts up in Baltimore. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Of Love and Regret is one of the restaurants up there that just love our beer because they use our beer in their cocktails. Some of them, yeah. So they usually get our funky beers, like Peak Bloom. They took because they were able to make a fantastic, refreshing cocktail with it. And then right now, what they really want, we made. What was it? Pine, not coconut. Not pine cones. Goodness, we made a very winter beer. We made a very wintry beer, and she was like, she wanted us to like brew that all year round so she could use it in her cocktails.
Oh, nice.
What was it? I'm just trying. It's going to come back to me what it was. We did it for the first time, and oh my gosh, the city loved it, and they drained us of it very quickly. I need to remember it.
Do you remember the style? Was it like a winter warmer? Was it a barley wine?
I'm doing a very bad job of this. I'm gonna have to look at Instagram actually.
When in doubt, consult Instagram.
I'm trying to look at their website to look at the menu.
What's that?
I'm trying to look at their website, look at their menu. They did, I'm on their menu and I'm doing like find the word bear. They did the Red Bear Saison and a shot of some kind of bourbon, which here in Philly we lovingly call citywide. Red Bear tastes like that's just like beer. Hold on. Where's the cocktails?
Oh, we won. We just won 10 best beer names at the beer competition, and Tastes Like Flannel won.
Huh.
Oh, cool.
That's awesome.
I love it. That's a real competition? Best beer name?
It's one of the international beer awards. International beer.
Is it those beer marketing awards?
No. It's like they literally, you send your beer in and they judge it.
Oh, okay.
Gosh, what. I'm doing a really bad job of describing all of our stuff.
That's okay.
That tastes like flannel. No, that's not good. Goodness. Anyway, we can move on, but gosh, now I'm upset. I want to find this.
I'm just now realizing I have to go to Baltimore and go to this Of Love and Regret place because these cocktails
You've
sound.
never been there? It's a great spot.
I haven't actually spent
It's a
time in
really great
Baltimore
spot.
outside of a show in October. I haven't spent time in Baltimore since high school, probably.
Oh, I love it. I love going up there. In fact, anytime I'm up in Baltimore, I try to stop there.
Yeah, it seems like they have really good sounding drinks.
Yeah.
I love that you have a beer called Manhattan Project. Do you have a connection to that, or is that just?
Well, if you look at the description of the Manhattan Project, it is a cherry almond sour.
Oh, I thought it was a top secret government program designed to develop nuclear weapons.
No. We wanted to make a Manhattan sour beer, and so we created the Manhattan Project of sour beers.
I love it.
That's clever. When I was freshly 21, Manhattan was like the drink I would always order, and I thought it was so cool. It's like my favorite cocktail.
It's a good cocktail. I haven't.
It
had
is a
one in
good
while.
cocktail,
I was watching
yeah.
a cocktail YouTube video earlier, and they mentioned Manhattans, and I kind of wanted one.
Okay, I found it.
Oh, here we go.
Krampus Shuffle. Sorry, I'm going through your Instagram.
Oh yes. We made a spruce tip beer last winter, and it was absolutely delicious. And it was just reminded us of winter. So so they tasted it and they just loved it, and they were using it in our cocktails. And then of course we ran out, and they're like, "No, you need to keep making more so I can keep making this cocktail." Because they
Wait,
love it.
is it called Spruce Almighty?
Yes, it's Spruce Almighty. Okay, naming beers is the best part of this job.
A bet.
Oh my gosh, I love a punny beer name.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
I approve.
Okay, I'm gonna throw this out to your listeners. I want to have my brewers make a sour and call it Stranger Tangs.
Stranger Tangs.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
You're
You
welcome.
You could do a special version of it and have it be the pineapple upside down.
Oh!
You were playing checkers. That's chess. That's really good.
Yeah. Well, they were like, well, it's going to have to be something citrus because tangy is citrusy. I'm like, it doesn't have to be. People are going to get it.
Yeah.
People are gonna get it.
It's the concept. It's the idea.
Well, talking about sours, Steph, you have Say Queer.
I do, yes.
Yes, and this is a crazy beer that we came up with. It is an orange vanilla tart ale.
Ooh.
Yes, it's a dreamsicle basically.
Yeah, orange creamsicle.
And I was apprehensive because vanilla in beer, I was worried, and with orange, I was and tart. But I was thinking like super sour, but it isn't. It just has a little bit of that little bite.
Surprisingly refreshing for how much is going on.
Mm-hmm. I think they did a really good job balancing it all out.
Now, as I pointed out, I think this was pre-recording. I also have the matching glass for the 2022 beer, but we also picked up, because Charlemagne insisted we did when we were at the table, we also picked up the 2021 glass. So did you do I assume you also did a Pride beer in 2021 as well. Was that and if so, was that the same kind of beer or was that a different beer?
No, every year we do a new theme, a new glass, and a new beer.
So what was the 2021 beer? Do you remember? Or is this going to be Spruce Tips again?
It's going to be Spruce Tips again. I would have to look that up. I don't remember. I know it was a fruited IPA.
Was it called Say Queer as well?
No, every year we change the name. We basically make a seasonal Pride beer, and we make a new glass, a new artwork, and a new theme. So last year's theme, 2021, was Things Are Getting Better. So we used the the imagery of the Wizard of Oz. So it was gray, black and white imagery on one side with the tornado and the house, and then it moved over to color and like a Technicolor world where they're on the yellow brick road with all the characters and Ursula, our bear, going into 2022, which is 2021? From 2020 to 2021.
2021, right.
Things are getting better because we were saying the pandemic is kind of in the rear view, but is it right now?
Yeah, it's always dangerous to say things are getting better.
Oh, I know. But we were optimistic.
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with being optimistic.
So every year we do, even in 2020, we had a Pride beer, even though we weren't able to celebrate. But what we did, we made a Pride glass for it, and we had a beer for it. And we basically, on the glass, it looked like an apartment building, and people were partying in the windows of the apartment building. Our message was together alone, or alone together. Alone together. Right. So we're not together, but we're partying. It's still Pride. We want to celebrate who we are.
Right.
And we even had one of the windows had the Golden Girls in it.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. So, and that one was the name of the beer for 2020 was Shandy Pines.
Oh, Shady Pine. Shandy.
Yep.
It took me a second. I was like, what's the pun? Okay.
So we made a shandy, basically.
Okay.
Lemony ale. It was delicious. Nobody got to drink it because it was pandemic.
Yeah. I gotta say, these are some of the best pun names I think I've ever heard for beers.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I'm just going down the list of your beer names on Untapped. I can't.
I actually, a minute ago, I went to our Google Drive and Googled Red Bear just to see, because I do a game of funny beer names all the time, and I was like, I've had to have found some of these names at some point, but I don't think so. It didn't come up.
Oh
when I searched.
wow!
Yeah.
Something about rosemary.
Oh my god, it is absolutely a delicious beer too. People like come in because it's our winter saison, because it's very herby, and they come in like August and they're like, where is your something like rosemary? I'm like, wait 2 more months.
The floor is guava.
I saw that one. I like that one.
Guava.
Well, yeah.
My goodness.
Where's the other one? Oh, Hefe don't preach.
Oh my
Cafe
God.
don't preach.
Hefe don't
Made me
preach.
giggle.
I mean,
I actually stopped and scrolled back up.
I also just really want to try the Tall, Dark, and Nutty.
Tall, dark, and nutty.
Okay, so our Tall, Dark, and Nutty was our answer to Sweet Baby Jesus.
Of course.
But ours is less sweet, and I like
Which is
that.
perfect, yeah. So it's just baby Jesus.
Yeah, it's just Baby Jesus. Not Baby Jesus, just Baby
Salty baby Jesus.
Wow. By the way, Tall, Dark, and Nutty, I call it TD and Nut. To my friends, I call it TD and Nut. And it's delicious with vanilla ice cream in it.
Oh, I can imagine.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
a good
dig
beer
that.
float. It's a really good beer float. Yep. I tell you, the best part of this job is beer names, but it's also infuriating because we all have our personalities and our own humors, and some things I think are hilarious that we need to do, and others are like, "That's a terrible name, Brian. Why would you do that? Why would you do this?"
Who gets the final say? Is there a vote, or do you have like final power as marketing guy? No, this is what it's called.
Oh no! We're very collaborative. We have to. It's like majority rules.
Okay.
Yeah. I think we've dodged a couple bullets, so I'm glad. I don't know a specific one offhand right now, but I do have a terrible graphic design choice that we were doing before we opened, and we were going to launch with this, and I'm like, this is a bad idea, people. But they wanted to go for it. They spent money on the graphic and everything. They basically wanted Jesus on a raptor.
As like the brewery logo?
No, it just they wanted to use that imagery with something. I don't remember what I think it was for a beer. And I'm like, guys, this is awful. Why would we do this? They spent the money for somebody to design it, and I'm like, can I veto this? I want to.
I used to go a little crazy with puns. I used to name the episodes all beer puns.
Yes.
Oh,
I forget
long
right
ago.
about when I stopped, but I just signed into like our Libsyn feed. The first one was episode 1, The Beer Ginning. There was Don't Beer the Reaper, Read Beer Between the Lines. Back to the Broocher was one of my favorite ones. Stand
can I tell you my favorite one?
Which one?
Who Framed Lager Rabbit?
Yes, I was sitting on that
God.
for years. I was sitting on that one for years before I used it.
Well, you can use Stranger Tangs and talk about sours.
There we go.
Stranger Tanks.
There we go.
I give you that. I give you
Thank
that.
you.
Oh, thank you.
Well, no, you have to use it because then he can use the pineapple upside down. We can't.
know.
We're not making beer.
Yeah, true.
Oh, there was another
Yeah,
jagged little pills. I liked that one.
That was a good one.
Jagged little pills. Yeah. Why did you stop?
I ran out of puns. I couldn't think of any more. So I just wound up doing like, plus, like if it was the episode title, I didn't put the brewery name in there. So like if I would have made this a beer pun, Red Bear wouldn't have shown up in the title. It would have been in the tagline. And that just didn't play well with like SEO.
Yeah. Yeah, we decided we should name the brewery.
Well, now I challenge you. You need to make a pun with the brewery name in it, or something pointing to the brewery. Now
Well,
that's a challenge.
So now what I do, and I want to take you on that challenge. Now what I do is I'll do like, this will be episode 244. It'll be 244 Red Bear Brewing, and then parentheses with a different title, which is probably going to be 150 Rainbow Fucks.
I love that.
Yep.
We could all use some rainbow fucks.
We could all use some
That is
rainbow fun.
absolutely
Yes, yeah.
Oh my God, how could I forget about this one? Beer me up, Scotty.
Oh, beer me up, Scotty. Yeah.
There's so many puns out there. I think you need to revive those because it's fun.
I don't know. Steph always gave me shit for it.
Steph is so quiet right now.
I know. I just rolled my eyes at a lot of them.
Yeah.
See,
No, they were
that's
good,
fitting.
but it is one of those things where like you've kind of set yourself an impossible task
Oh
at
yeah,
some point.
yeah. You
because,
can't
like,
keep doing it ad nauseum.
here we are 10 years later. There's no way you would have come up with 240
Right.
some odd
No.
good beer puns. Like,
Yeah. Crazy.
Oh, you know what was it? It was episode 77 is where I stopped doing that. I stopped doing that longer ago than I thought.
yeah.
Because that was the first one that was just Saucony Creek Brewing or Action Toasty Select All.
Yes. That's right.
Brian, this is episode 244 to
Yeah.
give you an idea.
Yeah. So
You're in this a while.
yeah, almost 10 years.
Almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So episode 77 was released on Christmas Day, 2015. I haven't done these puns in 7 years.
Sounds about right.
Maybe we'll get back to it.
Maybe.
Wow. Well, I hope I'm on in 10 years from now. I hope Red Bear's on again.
I would hope before then.
Or before.
Or before.
We'll have our 20-year anniversary at the Philly location of Red Bear.
Okay, yes, you better hold me to that.
That's a deal. Mark it in your calendars now, 2032.
If I can make a push for South Philly, we don't
That's
have any
what I
breweries.
would love.
We don't have any
Yes.
breweries. I lie. We have two. I lie. But we could stand to have a Red Bear.
I like South Philly.
I live in South. I don't know. It's got its moments, but like I have a routine. There's a Target 10 minutes away. There's an Aldi right next to it. There's a Best Buy down there. IKEA is down there. I can get everything I need in
You're
that
really
section.
selling it. You're really selling
All
it.
I
You're really
need,
selling it.
all I
Okay.
need is Red Bear.
And you can
All
park
need
on the
to figure
sidewalk
out
and
is
no one
find us
cares.
a location that's cheap.
What's that?
Yeah. A cheap location.
Oh yeah. Well, real estate here is cheaper than most.
I mean,
other parts
to
of
be
Philly.
honest with you, yeah, if you're looking at Philly, that's probably one of the cheapest
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah. See, we can make this happen.
Let's do it. Let's do
All
it.
right.
We're going to
I'll
tear
sign
down
on
the
dotted
Acme.
line.
Tear
Oh,
down.
that Acme is not going anywhere.
What's that?
Yeah, that's it.
There's
The
a
Acme.
Yeah, I used to go on and on. There's an Acme by us, a grocery store, and they were one of the first ones in Philly to like sell beer, and it was a big deal. And I always told people when we had them on the show talking about distribution and what accounts they wanted to have in Philly, I always said like, hey, there's an Acme that I know that happens to be from my house that would really like to have you on the shelves. So it became the infamous Acme for a while.
I see.
Didn't people start asking us if that Acme like paid us for
I
advertising?
wish. Oh, do I
Wouldn't be
wish?
surprised.
It's
Wouldn't
like all
be
these
surprised.
seltzer companies. We talk about their products.
Yeah, ahas. Yeah, especially ahas.
I prefer Wegmans.
It's fair.
What's the fun fact?
Red Bear has its own seltzer line.
I saw that.
Kind of.
Kind of.
I
Okay.
was going to say, it felt like there was more coming.
There's one on your tap list now, and I was going to ask about this because you have that and you have cider.
We do have cider, but that cider is not ours. We don't make it.
Okay.
But there are good friends up in Frederick, Maryland. It's an orchard. It's an apple orchard, and they love us so much that they named that cider after us. It's a red currant. It's a red currant cider, and it's delicious. And we had it off our lines for like 2 months, and we had like our guests were raging at us. Where is this cider? We want this back. So it's now a staple. We're not playing this game anymore. Yeah, it's called DLC, Distillery Lane Cider Works up in Frederick, Maryland, and they're fantastic.
That's very cool.
Tell us more about the seltzers.
Oh, seltzers. That's what we started with.
Yeah.
So if you look through our Instagram in 2020, last year it was 2021. We made some fun video of our Woof hard seltzer. Woof, WOOF, woof. Because what do gay men do? They woof at each other. This Woof hard seltzer, and we started with a raspberry lime, and then we graduated up to a blood orange ginger. It was delicious. It was delicious. And I say kind of because we're things are getting a lot better. We can't find fermentation time for seltzers, so we kind of have them on, and then we don't, and then it's a mess. What we really need to do is make a production facility so we have capacity. So we basically we did trademark it, so we do have Woof, but we kind of will put it on when we can, but it's really something we want to really develop when we grow into another space. So
will the production facility come before or after the Philadelphia location?
Well, we're already looking at finding the next production facility. So I'm going to say that comes first.
So that's actually happening now.
We have a real estate agents looking. So
I hope you're looking too.
Yeah.
Well, yes, because look at what happened.
Yeah, exactly.
We're actually looking at the Baltimore area for the production facility. We need cheap warehouse space.
So how far is Baltimore from DC?
It depends on the day. And the
I
time
kind of
day.
felt like that was going to be the answer.
Is it 30 miles, 34, 35 miles?
Oh, that's closer than I thought.
40 miles, something like. It's not that far.
Yeah.
It's not that far.
It could take you an hour and a half.
But it can take you an hour and a half. Depends on traffic.
Well, it's just like driving to Philly.
Yeah.
Like, it could take you 2 hours to go 10 miles, depending on the time of the day or what day it is. Or you could get there in 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm. So our next step is doing production because the demand is there. If we could do triple the amount of beer we produce right now, we could sell it all.
Wow.
No doubt. No problems. So we're doing fine in the tap room. And so what's happening right now, we need to get the tap room operations like sustaining itself and making good money, which it is. Maintain that for a while, but keep looking for a space and then really be aggressive. Probably in 2023, be really aggressive, try to find a space. So, of course, that whole process takes time. Mm-hmm. So, unfortunately, the pandemic, we were doing really, really well in 2019 when we opened, and that moved our timeline up. We should probably be in our next space this year, right?
Yeah.
But the pandemic pushed everything back. So we're now, 3 years behind what we thought we would be. So, but it is what it is. Yeah.
You got to keep up with that demand.
Speaking of
People want our
pandemic,
beer.
I heard that 3 Stars closed their doors. I guess technically yesterday was the last day at the tap room, right?
Wow.
Yes. I was going to bring this like DC news segment because I have two juicy bits of news. That's actually
Tell us the tea, Brian.
it's all out there already. Well, I was going to say 3 stars. Yes. A DC staple for you, the audience. DC staple. They've been around since 2015.
Sounds right.
Almost 10 years is what they wrote on their the article that I read. And I feel really bad for them because in 2019, they put a lot of money down to expand their space into an event space. And the space is amazing. Love it. Like, I love their beer. I love the people that work there. But they put all this money down and they built it out. They were going to open that event space right when we all locked down for the pandemic. So they already had this huge overhead, and then the pandemic happened. And of course, they got all the PPP loans and stuff like that. But I feel like they were in such a deeper hole than a lot of us. Obviously, I don't know. I didn't talk to Mike Garvey, the owner, but that had to have been a big drag. Like spending all that money, getting another loan to open all that up. I just feel I feel like that contributed, and the fact that it was just hard for them to get that back. So I feel really bad that they had to close. So
Yeah, that sucks.
They made some amazing beers. That was always a stop when I was in the city. Good stuff.
Yeah, good place. Yeah. Again, we're really sad that they had to close the doors, but they have to make tough decisions, and that's kind of what this industry is. That's kind of how the business works. You gotta make some tough decisions sometimes. Sometimes you gotta close. So again, we wish them all the best, and we'll see what happens next. I hope.
They had
What's that?
A really good. As you were talking about 3 stars, I'm like 3 stars. That's tickling something in my brain. Their peppercorn saison I had years ago, and it's like I've had a long time love of saisons, and that was like one of the beers that like really pushed me towards the style.
Yeah, their beer is going to be best in DC here. So
yeah,
so that's one of the tea.
One tea.
Have you heard of Silver Branch Brewing Company up in Silver Spring?
Yeah.
Silver Branch.
I don't think I have.
So this just dropped today. They were going to merge with Old Ox Brewing Company out in Virginia to increase their production capability. And that was announced this past spring. Apparently the merger is off.
Ooh.
They're not merging.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Apparently, there's an article in dcbeer.com. We love those guys. They do great work. They have the pulse of what's going on in DC. But they just released an article that they're not merging. There apparently was a little bit of miscommunication between the owners. Who knows? So we'll see.
Oh.
Yeah, but so the whole impetus was that Silver Branch needed more capacity because they're basically what we are. They're maxed out at capacity levels, and they wanted to see if they merge with somebody, they could increase capacity. And Old Ox, they were talking to them, and maybe they announced it too soon. I don't know, but talks must have fell through. So yeah. So that's the 2T I know. Other than all of the Virginia breweries are moving into DC now. We've got Aslan, we've got Solace. I know Crooked Run is going to move into Union Market apparently. So
Aslan is opening a spot in Pittsburgh too, so they're moving to Pennsylvania.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the wrong side of Pennsylvania.
All right. Well, that's aggressive.
And now that all these beer laws have changed in Jersey, all the Jersey breweries are going to be moving over to Pennsylvania too.
God, yeah.
Well, other half from New York is down here now too. So.
Yeah, they're also in Philadelphia now too.
Oh, that's right. They took over where Goose Island was. Yeah.
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 Forgot about that.
So, well, I just feel like you're going to see a lot of this movement in the brewery, the craft brewery industry. I think you're going to actually see a lot more mergers and a lot more acquisitions, because a lot of 10-year leases are going to start coming up from all these breweries that opened 10 years ago. And so landlords are going to jack up the price. And, there's a lot of construction happening in mid-sized cities. And so I just really feel like and I'm not the first one to say this. You look at any beer news, they'll talk about mergers are coming. Like there's going to be grand shuffling here in the next 5 years or so of small to mid-sized breweries. And as soon as I saw the Silver Branch Old Ox news, I wasn't shocked by it. You got to be aggressive out there. It's there's a lot of beer out there, and you've got to. How do you stick out, right? Or how do you make enough? Again, that's our problem right now. We could make 3 times as much of beer right now, and we know we could sell it. So capacity is. If I could only build out our space like 3 times as big.
If only you could take over the whole arena.
Yeah.
If I could take over REI, they would murder me because they love that space. By the way, we love REI, which is kind of funny because REI is a Seattle company.
Oh, I didn't know that.
REI started in Seattle. That's where their corporate office is. And we're basically we started this whole project in Seattle. So that little cul-de-sac, if that coffee shop was a Starbucks, we'd be little Seattle right there. Yeah.
You just need a bum wall.
It's La Colombe, and we love La Colombe.
Oh, La Colombe. They're a Philly company.
Yeah, gotta love La Colombe.
Yep. So we're a little, I still say we're a little Seattle.
Little Seattle. I like that. Little Seattle and DC.
Yeah. Well, dare I ask and dare I suggest, shall we play a game?
Would you like to play a game?
Yes. I hope it's not spin the bottle. This is going to get weird.
It is not. You will be happy to hear that this game is all about weird beer names.
Oh, boy.
Red Bear's pretty good about this. So
yeah, we've learned. I'm going to be going back to your tap list for future versions of this game. Okay. I swore I must have already, but apparently I didn't. So
you're right.
So cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games. Buckle up, because it's going to be spruce tips all over again. We are joined today by Bryan from Red Bear in DC. And he will be playing against my co-hosts Dan and Steph in a head-to-head competition, as previously alluded to, in everyone's favorite Happy Fun Time game, Libation or Fabrication. And I know we played it last episode, but this is a continuation of the Libation or Fabrication, even more music edition. So these are all beer names inspired by music.
Okay.
I'm gonna fail.
So the name of the game is I'm going to tell you the name of something, and you tell me whether that thing is a real beer or something I just made up. And we will begin, as we most often do, to my virtual left with Dan. Our first beer of the game, is it real or fake? This is called Stop, Collaborate, and Glisten.
Oh, I didn't see that ending in glisten, and I hope it's fake. I'm going to go fake.
Dan is saying that is fake, Steph.
What if it's a glitter beer?
It shouldn't.
What if it is?
Then it's an abomination.
What if it's not a beer at all? What if it's a seltzer?
Wait. Do you have seltzers in?
There's no seltzers in this game. Wait.
Dan said fake. I'll say real.
Saying real. Yeah, a Happy Fun Time is very much like Calvin Ball. The rules are just made up as we go. Finally, Bryan, we've got a fake, we've got a real. What do you think?
What's the name again?
Stop, Collaborate, and Glisten.
How does one glisten? I guess if you're like smelly. I'm going to say it's real.
Oh, saying it is real, agreeing with Steph. Good idea, because it is, in fact,
damn
real.
Please tell me it's a glitter beer.
It is not. It is a sparkling golden ale fermented with Sauvignon Blanc grape must and a blend of wild yeast strains. Jaws are agape in the call.
There is, because we did a Kolsch that we used a white, like, grape juice in it. The name was amazing. Oh my gosh.
The new game is, can Brian come up with a funnier name than the one I just said?
Okay, I'm going to have to come back to that one. The name was amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to look that up.
Oh my god.
You have one tapped up because... Okay, keep going.
Keep going. Moving swiftly along. That was from Night Shift Brewing, which is in Massachusetts. And it's an oldie. Stop, Collaborate, and Glisten was brewed the same year this podcast began.
Oh, wow.
Way back. In the old days of 2013. Yes, very real beer. Moving on to our next beer of the game. Steph, you are up to tell me, is it real or fake? This is called Keep It Copacetic.
You just song ninja'd me.
Yeah, myself. I did to myself too.
Oh god.
You're so pathetic.
I don't know. I feel like that's one you would make up, just knowing you and I and our age and the music we grew up listening to. I'm going to say it's fake.
Saying it is fake, and a very thoughtful reasoning on this one. It's not usual from Steph in this game. Brian, what do you think?
I'm going to say it's real.
Saying it is real. So again, a divided opinion on the first two responses. Dan, who do you agree with?
I am going to see.
Oh, agreeing with Steph. Not a good strategy this time, because this one is real. Keep It Copacetic. It is a cream ale and is brewed by Middlebrow Beer Company in Chicago in collaboration with Man BQ.
Oh, that's not where I thought you were going with that.
I don't know what that is. This beer has appeared in Happy Fun Time before, but in a different game. This appeared in There's Weird in My Beer, because Keep It Copacetic was inspired by the classic Mexican street food elote and was brewed with limes, chili peppers, and over 240 pounds of popcorn for each batch to capture that elote flavor.
I would like to point out that manbq.com is a very poorly laid out website, and they just have spots that say ad 728 by 90. Oh, there's ad 300 by 250.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Man BQ. I may have dove deeper into their backstory when this beer appeared in the previous game, There's Weird in My Beer, but this time around I figured it was not worth the effort. But I will say that half of the profits from that beer were donated to local Chicago charities.
Oh, so that's good. Okay.
Keeping it copacetic all around. Moving on to what is our penultimate beer of the game.
I was watching something the other day, and they said penultimate, and I almost texted you.
Because that's Wayne's word. How dare someone else say
how dare somebody else say it?
He's trademarked it.
I will admit, most of my life I did not know what that word was. So I'm just making up for lost time, I guess. Brian, you are up to guess first our next beer. Tell me, is it real or is it fake? This beer is called Stupid and Contagious.
Wow. No, that's not real.
Saying that is fake. Dan, what do you think? Pretty emphatically.
I'm just going to keep rolling with the fake train, because at this point something has to be fake.
Dan is giving all the Fs. Steph?
Well, okay, so I was going to say whatever Brian said, because he's currently in the lead and got them all right. But now I could play strategy and say real, and if I get it right, I could be in a better place.
Oh.
So I'm going to say real purely out of strategy, not because I think it's real.
Wow.
Purely for the game theory.
Yes.
Good call, because this one is real.
God damn it!
Yeah, Stupid and Contagious. It is real. It is an 8% ABV double IPA from Brewyard Beer Company, which is in Glendale, California. As you may have guessed, this beer was released in 2020. Late in the year.
Stupid and Contagious.
Yes, to be more specific. They released it and they said, please social distance and wear a mask so we can open our tap room again sometime soon. Which presumably they eventually did, as most people have. But the commercial description says, Cashmere and Galaxy hops help the huge hop aroma bursting with notes of citrus and tropical fruits. The malt character is understated with a dry finish to let the layered hop flavors and aromas take center stage. There you go. Stupid and Contagious, a real beer. And we have come to the final beer of the game, and this is the point in the show where we add up the scores to see where everyone stands, and we have an interesting situation. Tied with 2 points apiece, Steph and Bryan. Dan threw out all his fucks. None of them landed.
Wow.
He has absolutely no points
Wait,
at this
Dan
point.
has no points?
He's got
This
none
hasn't
right so
happened
far.
in years.
That's
Literally.
I know,
very
Dan.
unusual.
Dan doesn't always win, but he often does okay. But yeah, not doing so well this time around. No hope of catching up to your competitors because they each have 2 points, but what the hell. We're going to let Dan guess last since he is in last place, so he gets at least the benefit of knowing what you guys chose first. So, Steph, we're going to start with you. Our final beer of the game. Is it real? Is it fake? It is called Beefcake Pantyhose.
Oh my god.
I don't get. What's the musical reference?
It's a Beck song.
Okay.
People like Beck.
I mean, if this
People
is,
like-
I enjoy
this-
Beck.
It's a banana. How much could it cost? $10?
if this is real, it's officially my new favorite brewery.
Okay. Is that your answer?
Well, none of them have been fake yet, right?
Have you been keeping track?
I think I said fake for everything, and I have no points.
It's true.
I mean, you are my favorite cousin, so I feel like you might come
What?
up with that. This is not
Hey,
something.
are you all related?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We
Dan's
are.
my brother, and Steph's our cousin.
Uh,
Sometimes we
This is a
forget that
family
people don't know
affair.
that.
This is a family affair.
Yes, it is.
It's like it all makes sense now.
It all makes.
I'm gonna say fake.
Saying it is fake. Took a while to get there, but we did. Brian, what do you think?
I can't imagine this is real.
All right. Also saying fake. So, Dan, I mean, the smart thing is to say real. Are you going to do the smart thing?
Is that the smart thing, though? Because it
'cause
sounds
they both said-
fake. It sounds very
Yeah.
fake.
But if you want at least one measly point in this
I'm
game,
doubling down. Fake.
all right, double down on the Fs. Everybody's right. This
No.
one,
I got
is
a
in
point.
fact fake. This one is in fact fake. One of the many lines from Beck's breakout 90s hit Loser that would make a weird name for anything. And I will probably come back to that song for more names in the future
You could
as well.
literally pick any Beck song and any line, and it would make a good beer
It would
name.
make- yeah.
You
So I'll
just-
probably
You
I'll
need
be
a
using
you
those.
need a rhyming dictionary.
Yeah.
A rhyming dictionary. Well, until I get
But
one
don't-
of those.
Don't ever Google his lyrics. You have to actually, because Google is the lyrics on Google for Beck songs are not correct.
Oh, I wasn't aware that that was a thing. Stupid Google. Well, my time is a piece of wax. Falling on a turnpike. It's choking on the
Who's
splinter.
choking on a splinter?
Well, I guess we could say soy you in Perdidor.
You, in fact, are the big loser, but you got 1 point. You got 1 point, so you didn't go the whole game and with nothing to show for it. You at least got one correct.
I'll take it.
Tied for first place, way ahead of Dan with 3 points each. I just have to really lay it on because he never does really bad in this segment. So when it happens, you got to take advantage. Brian and Steph both with 3 points, only one incorrect for each of you. So
Congratulations
very good
to
showing.
both of you.
Yes. Dan employing a strategy that Steph often uses, just giving the same answer for everyone.
I have
Didn't
done
work
that.
out too well.
I
this
thought
time.
I thought about changing it up and saying real for the last one just to really screw myself over.
Yeah, then you would have had no points. Well, thank you all for playing. Thank you for checking out Happy Fun Times. But this is the point of the podcast where we must shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. Brian, did you have something to say?
I did. I found our Brute Kolsch, the name of it.
Oh, okay.
You need to use this.
Okay.
So if you're listening, write this down. Red Bear's Brute Kolsch was named Dom Perignon.
I love it.
Very good. Very
I
good.
love how not only did he fact check the entire game, but he also managed to win the game at the same time.
He did. He just got a bonus point. He now has 4 points and is the winner of today's game.
I'll
take it.
Fair,
I'll take
fair.
it.
Everyone's okay with that outcome. Good. Everyone's happy. Well, yes, this is, of course, the point of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. We would like to thank the following individuals for keeping the lights on here at Beer Busters Podcast World Headquarters, beginning with Jen McDonald.
I'm getting a lot of wood.
PA Brew Review.
Dipla something or other.
Eric Dixon.
That's amore.
Dana. Oh. James Lamberg.
I have a ball that's this big coming at my face, you know?
Chris Mahoney.
Spilled the beer.
Sean Sullivan.
Beer is every place.
Brian Mills.
Yes. Hey, I'm Batman.
Jill Chivers.
Oh, I see that.
The one and only that's no baloney, Gio Mansell.
9.
Topher Simmons.
So buttery.
And finally, Ben Mengel. If you want to join the ranks of these amazing humans, you can go to patreon.com/beerbusters and become a patron of the podcast for as little as $1 a month or more if you want to get your name read, because that does cost a little more. But this is also now the point of the podcast where we pay our tab.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
So I had an idea for a business. What if you could get 5 condoms in the mail and try them on before you use them? Keep the one you want and send the rest back. Well, I pitched it to friends of mine, and they pointed out many, many shortcomings in that plan, which I hadn't thought of. So, bad idea. However, it could work for glasses. Enter Warby Parker. What's Warby Parker? Well, Warby Parker makes buying glasses online easy and risk-free, which people who have eyes that don't work well tell me it can be very annoying otherwise. So Warby Parker will send you 5 glasses for you to try on at home for 5 days to get feedback from your friends, your family, people on the street, people on the internet, what have you. And you can send back what you don't want, risk-free, no charge, no questions asked. And for every pair of glasses that you buy from Warby Parker, they will donate a pair of glasses to someone in need, which is not an idea that I had for my condom pyramid scheme, but it sounds like a very good idea for glasses. Want to find out how you can get in on this deal? How to get your free at-home trial of glasses? Amazing. Go to warbyparkertrial.com/beerbusters. Get a free 5-day trial of 5 frames at warbyparker.com/beerbusters. The end.
We need to make Don Perry-Yas again. It was so good.
Yes, please.
That's pretty awesome.
So
I love it.
What we wanted to do, we wanted it to be like a white wine Kolsch. And so we used white wine grape juice in it. And we tried to make it more carbonated with a higher CO2. It didn't work well because it did not pour well.
Oh,
our tap room was like, don't do this again.
Is that where milk tubes came from?
Was that
milk tubes? Everybody drinks the foam. The milk tubes.
Yeah,
Have you heard of this?
Mm-hmm. Red Bear invented that. I guess
they invented that by overcarbonating your beer.
Oh my gosh! But the beer itself was so good. So I'm gonna have to. We made it for New Year's, basically.
Oh, perfect.
Champagnes, right? Dom Perignon.
Very cool. I really like.
I want a fan that has that on. I want a fan. Please. New Year's Eve. There's time. New Year's Eve 2023. It can be part of the VIP package.
Oh, yeah.
You get to drink that at midnight and you get a click fan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not going to write this down. I'm stealing your ideas.
It's been done before.
They need to be like red glitter, though. At least the yas part. I mean, because you're Red Bear and it's New Year's. We need glitter. Who doesn't love glitter?
Right.
Everybody that owns the place that the glitter's at.
Oh yeah.
No. You've been to Red Bear. You look hard enough, you're gonna find glitter everywhere.
Touche.
By the way, Perry, I'm sorry, I'm writing a note and trying to talk at the same time. No less than 3 A's. And NYE.
My phone actually autocorrects yes to yes in capital letters.
Oh, I love that. I'm not going to know what this note means, but I'm going to work really hard. Okay. So rewinding back to my job, I actually am a part-time nuclear medicine tech even now.
Really? Still?
Oh, wow.
I do both jobs now. So
wow.
I get up at 5 a.m. and I do nuclear medicine until 2, and then I do Red Bear stuff. So, until
do you sleep?
No. What is that?
Okay.
Not familiar with that concept.
Yeah. Can you like tell me more? I don't have time for that. So anyway.
Yeah.
It's one of those moments where as soon as you sit still, you just fall asleep.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
Yeah, we thought he was fact checking. He was actually napping.
I was actually sleeping.
Yeah, little power naps.
I was sleeping.
Micro napping.
I have a friend who actually she sleeps regularly, like 2 hours a night, and then every couple months she'll just like sleep 12 hours and then she'll be good for a while. Yeah, she can survive on very, very little sleep.
It's like a sleep camel.
Actually,
a sleep camel? That's
they store up water for long periods of time.
I'm not telling her you said that.
I mean, it sounds like it would be offensive, but I didn't mean it offensively.
I want to know where her sleep pump is.
See, that sounds worse.
Where do you put your sleep pump?
Oh my god!
Where do you keep it?
Please, someone write that down. I don't have a pen in front of me.
There's a lot written down for this episode.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
If I get a voiceover, where do you put your sleep pump?
Pretty sure we have a bunch of contenders for sound clips from this episode.
Yeah. Quite a few, I would imagine.
Oh my god.
Oh my word. Oh my
No, it was even funnier because when he first said it, I thought he said sleep pump. And
So did I, yeah.
was like, oh, he said pump. It was like a delayed reaction. Oh my god. Yeah, but you need to put where does she keep? That was the line, right?
Where does she keep her sleep pump?
Yeah. She just wrote sleep pump. I'm like, no, you need the whole thing.
I mean, it's pretty good by itself, too.
Context. Oh, my Lanta.
Oh, my Lanta.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh, my gosh. Well, do I dare ask if people want to find out more about Red Bear Brewing? Where
are we still recording?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And now we just learned you're on a chair that has wheels.
Or he's just really speedy.
Yeah, right. Really speedy and smooth.
And very
it looks
graceful,
like you're rolling back.
Okay. We can cut out the sleep pump thing if you want.
No.
That's podcast gold.
I'm just trying to be,
No, that's hilarious.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
What was the question? I don't even remember.
Where's the brewery on the internet?
Yeah.
Oh, we're at redbear.beer.
Oh, yes, that's right. You have a .beer. Yes.
We have a .beer because .com, some bastard owns it and wants to sell it for us for like thousands of dollars. We're like, no, .beer is going to be where it's at. We're also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, blah, blah, blah.
Of course.
We're not on TikTok because I'm not that young.
That's fair.
Well, we only are because a 17-year-old kid told us to do it.
I don't have, I like video creation, like content for social media alone is daunting.
Yeah.
But then making videos, no. And people are gonna like think like, oh, come on, you can figure it out. I'm like, I could, but I don't want to do that.
Right. We've also heard how much you sleep, so you don't need to. You got enough to worry about.
Well, the nice thing is, if I ever need video, I just throw a dry clean at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Good point.
We actually go on our Instagram. We've actually created commercials.
Oh, nice.
There is a fantastic Christmas one that we did in 20
December. Oh, I thought he was trying to.
What year? I'm trying to think of the year.
What month was that?
It's December, but 2019.
Okay.
And we did a Halloween one 2019, and then we did the Wolf one. So they're kind of in there. You gotta look for them. And we should be sued by Mariah Carey for one of them. I'm not going to tell you why. And you're going to find out why very quickly. So
she listens to this podcast, so
I'm sure she does. Yeah. If we have not been sued yet, I think we're fine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's like every brewery owner's mantra. They haven't sued me yet. It's probably fine.
But if she's listening right now, Mariah, we're gay. We're your people. Let us have that moment. Yeah. Let us have that moment, please.
I would really like to know if Mariah Carey or anybody famous listens to this.
Crickets.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
Nobody.
Mm. Well, if they aren't, they should become Patreons.
They should.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
And you could also be a patron by going to. Well, I mean, you could too.
You could.
I thought you were soliciting directly to me. Oh, God.
For as little as $1 a month, patreon.com/beerbusters.
Beerbusters.
Yes, there's plenty of other places.
People.
It's like Wayne said earlier, Beerbusters, we're on the internet.
We're on the internet.
Can I pay you in beer?
Wouldn't be the first person, probably won't be the last person, and it's always appreciated.
All right.
Yep.
We do enjoy beer.
Just to clarify to the listeners, though, Patreon does not accept beer as a form of payment,
that is actual currency.
So
doesn't necessarily have to be U.S. currency, but it's currency.
Yeah, you got to spend at least a real dollar.
Yeah.
Do you accept Dogecoin?
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Patreon took crypto. I really wouldn't.
They probably do.
I still have Dogecoin, and I hate myself.
Well, I've gone through 2 beers this evening.
Only 2?
Very nice. Very nice.
Well, I've gone through 3, but I've had.
You're sharing.
I have Dana helping me. Yeah.
I had a healthy pour of rye.
Dan killed the bottle of whiskey.
Completely killed
Wouldn't be the first time I thought about it.
And then, how's your hard seltzer?
Oh, mine? It's not hard.
Oh, it's just seltzer?
It's a soft seltzer. Said. Yeah, I'm bored. I don't drink much these days, especially on weeknights. I should have grabbed at least one beer, but I didn't.
Polar does make hard seltzers.
Do they?
Now, or are they? Yeah, Harpoon is going to be doing that with them.
I want to try the Topo Chico ones.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by that.
I've had those. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
Are they? Yeah. I like Topo Chico.
Yeah,
it sounds like my drink often.
We saw them a bunch in Texas when we were there, and I really thought about getting one. And I should have. Next time, though.
There's a taqueria close to where I live, and they have them. And I tried them for the first time. They're delicious. Yeah.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Good to know.
Very good.
Now I want tacos.
Yes.
I know.
Oh, we did want tacos for dinner, too.
So I almost did this podcast interview at my house, and I'm like, my room is a mess. I'm like, ugh. So I rushed over here, but I put in a pizza to eat, and it baked, and I'm like, I can't do this in my room. So I put a cloth over it, and I rushed over here. So I have a pizza waiting for me.
Oh my God! No, we can't keep you from pizza.
I thought you were going to say it's still in the oven. I'm like,
I kind of for a second.
My house is on fire right now.
Yeah. You might want to go.
Well, that is an important thing, a very important thing that you need to get home to. Pizza. You can't just let that go.
And then I got to prep for Drag Bingo tomorrow.
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
These are very important things, and of course we have to say thank you for donating your time to us. This was an absolute pleasure and a blast, and I can't wait to do it again.
Let's do it again next Monday.
Okay. All right, I'm in. That's the Monday before the Monday with the jury duty, so I'm good.
Oh, hey, look at that.
Oh, you have jury duty?
Yeah, and I got a call to see if I'm due for it, but I'm scheduled for the 25th. Yeah. Hopefully it won't be federal like Jess's.
Yeah, hopefully. My fiance had to go to Allentown for 5 weeks to sit on a federal jury for 4 days a week. Yeah, that was annoying. Right when we moved.
Yeah.
You've been called.
I've been called, but I've never served.
I did selection once but I never actually was assigned to a jury. Hopefully that trend stays up. Well,
you don't want to do civic duty? Come on.
I vote. That's enough, right?
I make beer. That's enough.
Yeah, exactly.
That is,
yeah.
You know,
That's important.
Everybody happy with beer.
Yeah, you get all the shitty politicians' aides drunk so they can deal with the shitty politicians.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing a national service.
That is true.
Wow. Yeah, they need to give me an award or something.
Right. Exactly.
Good.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right.
They should name it. They should name a street after you.
Red Bear or me personally?
I mean, whichever you'd prefer.
Both. I'll take two. I'll take.
You want a whole? You want the whole intersection?
I do.
Yeah.
I want
And they need to cross.
Red Bear Bryan. My last name is huge, so it's Van Den Oever. So that thing would be stretched. And of course, I need to steal that sign. So.
Well, of course.
Yeah. So make two right away.
Yeah.
And the crosswalks, we could do rainbow crosswalks. And the whole
Who are we addressing right now, though, when we're saying these things? Like, who's the street naming committee? I don't even know.
It's DC someone.
Someone.
D dot.
D dot?
D dot?
D dot.
Is that actually what it's called? Is D dot?
Yes.
Oh,
And
man.
that's what it is in DC. It's called D dot. They do like the streets and like stuff like that. Department of
Transportation?
I don't know. It's D dot. I know it's D dot. They do street shit here in DC. Well, we said fuck. I can say shit.
You say shit. Street shit.
That's right. We said fuck early in the episode, too. It was like right out of the gate.
Yeah, that's true. We did. Yeah.
Are you taking that clip? You said fuck, so I can say shit.
Oh, yeah, I can. This is gonna be a fun one to edit.
I may have to listen to this and be like, what did I just do?
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
Oh my word!
Holy shit!
Well, next time I'm up in Philadelphia, I'm gonna have to shout out and be like, let's get a drink.
Yes, please do. Please do.
Let's go to Acme.
We'll go to the infamous Acme.
Let's go to Acme.
And we can
That's
show
a
you where
grocery
you
store.
could get your beer when you come into Philly.
It's a grocery store, right?
Yes.
That is a grocery
Yeah.
store.
That's where I want to hang out.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best of South Philly is the Acme at
There you go.
All right. Well, did you get the nickel for that, or?
You may have to bleep it out.
I wish. Yeah, I'm going to bleep out the address, definitely, because I don't want people knowing exactly where I am.
Yeah, that's pretty close to where you live.
Yeah. You're lucky. You moved out.
I
You're
know,
safe
yeah,
now.
It's 4 blocks of here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
And half of that's and we've already established you don't live there.
That's true. That's true. I kind of, maybe, sort of northern. Anyway.
Well, now we're narrowcasting.
Exactly.
Only Philly people will understand.
And now I'm like kind of ratting out myself where I live. All that to say, Bryan, thank you again. This has been fantastic.
This has been fun.
Yes.
Lots of laughs.
Oh, a lot of laughs.
Absolutely.
The most laughs.
Absolutely.
But I think, unfortunately, this does bring us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters. Oh, my God, this was so great. I can't wait to get down to D.C. again, and I will most certainly stop at Red Bear.
As long as your guests are laughing, I did my job.
Exactly. That's the important part. That is the most important part. Well, you listening to this right now, don't forget to leave us a rating or review on your podcast platform of choice, but do that for all the podcasts you listen to, because that's how all of our shows grow, and this is a giant community. But hey, I'm Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hafner,
and the Demented and Fermented,
Wayne Baker.
Remember, no squids were harmed in the making of this episode, and we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
You know what? The pandemic was weird.
Wait, why are you bringing this up now?